What's good? If you're a serious artist and you're looking to perfect your craft or promote your product, viral hip hop news uncensored, the Uncensored Truth podcast have a very great service to provide right here for you at an affordable cost. Get your product in front of millions and millions of views per month right here on all three platforms. Make sure you email me at dlsmediainc1@gmail.com or OGod at hiphopun.com. You'll see both of those emails in the description box. Now, if you're serious about your art, hip-hop, R&B, whatever act you got going on in the music game and you want to promote your product in front of 500,000 subscribers, email us right now. We'll give you a great promotional price. Don't waste your time. Promote your product right now. Let's go.
Welcome to another episode of the Uncensored Truth podcast. I'm your brother OGod from Hip Hop's Uncensored. Sitting across from me is my co-host.
What it do? What's good? It's your brother Sam, Viral Hip Hop News. Another episode of the Uncensored Truth podcast. I believe, OGod, this is episode 58. If I'm not mistaken,
it's probably more than that. I think it's way more than that.
I think this is when we just started editing up. Man, we self-made over here. Everything you see, the cameras, the lighting, the content, the fucking mixer on the bottom. We all do all this joint, man. So when y'all get on us, man, we appreciate it, but we are self-made over here. Let me just talk about this real quick, man, as we just get into the podcast. Yes, shout out to everybody watching on YouTube, SoundCloud, wherever you're listening, whether you're watching or listening, we appreciate you. Got some real great specials going on with promotion on our platform. You see the hats. We'll get into that as we go on with the show, man. But what is it about us as a people that whenever you start seeing one of us start gaining success and start rising in success, it can never be self-made. It's always someone that gave us a handout, or we joined the Illuminati, or we gave up some kind of booty hole to get some type of success. Why do we do that to each other, man? Why can't anyone out here be self-made, self-owned, self-sustained? Yeah, I mean, just do it off of hard work. Why do we do that to each other?
I don't know, man. It's sad though. It's always, and I ain't gonna say that we ever fell victim to that, but it's kind of always been a stereotype, especially somebody gets like the hundreds of millions when they reach, because there's been rumors out there that that certain people will say once you reach this mark, you have to do something to get to this mark. But there's really no truth, that I know of anything like that. Some people just go out and are self-made and just do it on their own. You know what I mean? And a lot, a lot of people have done it on their own. Some people have done certain things, get in certain situations. I understand that. What I mean? Slept with directors and all that, and bent over. We know about all the Me Too movement going on and all that stuff now. But yeah, man, I don't know, man. It's very, very toxic, to think that I would rather, we would rather, speak to somebody and ask them, all right, how'd you get here? What was your journey like? And then maybe we can learn from that. But yeah, that's sad.
Yeah, we look forward to doing that. Actually, that's what we trying to hold ourselves at the standard on this podcast, to talk about the hip hop, talk about the news and everything that's going on, but kind of give you it in a different direction. We had a dope car talk on our way to Philly a couple days ago, and shout out to everyone watching on or listening, on SoundCloud. We'll start giving you a little bit of let's just say real personal clips of us in the car talking about things that you normally wouldn't hear on YouTube or things like that. Just real in-depth conversation. And we were just talking about just how we just don't, as a people, really stick by each other when it comes to just support, and we're just not disciplined. Sometimes it's very unfortunate when it comes to time, when it comes to work ethic and things of that nature. And it really is a shame that we can't highlight and just really uplift the people out here really doing it self-made and self-earned, as opposed to trying to tear them down as well. We've seen Brother Umar talking about LeBron School in that conversation and things like that. And no matter what side you're on in that conversation, it's just really unfortunate how people really just take it. They can't wait for an opportunist to take advantage to tear a brother down, man. I wish we did a little less of that, and we really just big each other up more. But just getting into the podcast right here on Viral Hip Hop News Uncensored, the Uncensored Truth podcast. We want to just give our deep prayers to Sister Aretha, Queen Aretha Franklin. Came out today that she is in real grave health. I believe she is 76 years old. Queen of Soul, Detroit made. She's known for her legendary songs. What do you think about Aretha Franklin in grave health now? Yeah,
well, it came out that she's suffering from a real bad form of cancer. And the dude named Avery Castleman came out and said, "Breaking news, I'm so sad to report that the Queen of Soul and my good friend Aretha Franklin is gravely ill. I spoke with her family members this morning. She's asking for everybody's prayers at the time. I will have more details when I'm allowed to release it." So it seems like some type of a cancer. Very, very sad. Very, very sad to see, you know, because she has a lot more years. You know, our grandfather lived into his 90s, so she could at least, you know, have like 20, you know, maybe 30 more years left, you know. So it's definitely disease, you know, like cancer, somebody to go out. You know, my condolences go out, you know, to the family, man. It's hard, especially, you know, what she's meant to us in music and soul and all that is great. But, you know, that's one thing. But her personal family that's going to eventually experience the loss, unless you really lost a loved one close to you, which we all probably have, everybody listening, you don't know the pain. So, you know, condolences.
She's definitely a queen in our culture. 56 years in the music industry. You know what I mean? 76 years old, born in Memphis, Tennessee in 1942. She was the daughter of a famous pastor and also a civil rights activist, C.L. Franklin. She's definitely ingrained within the culture. We all know her songs, respect, uplifting women, always kind of giving a real soulful and sincere message in her music. And like we said, everyone has to go. Everyone dies, everyone passes away, but this is really unfortunate. She had a lot of life left to live, even at 76 years old, and it's all a shame. It should just attest to all of us that we need to take care of ourselves nutrition wise early on, make sure that we're taking care and putting the proper nutrition in our bodies and mindful and conscious of what's going on and being put in our bloodstream, because nowadays we talked about the situation with the brother that's getting the $89 million. I'm approximating right now off of the Monsanto. You know what I mean? And that's just him touching it and going to work every day thinking that he's doing the right thing. His terminal cancer, now he's about to die. So we just got to be mindful at the end of the day, man. But yeah, not condolences yet, but prayers out to Miss Franklin.
Yes, sir. But you're listening to the Uncensored Truth podcast with your brother OGod and Sandman. We going all the way in today, you know, with this broadcast. Once again, if you're listening on SoundCloud, we do appreciate you coming over from any channel. But if you're listening on YouTube or any other platform, please go ahead and hit the like button. Make sure that you share this video. It definitely helps, you know, on the message. Go where it needs to go. Sandman, what else you got for us over there, man?
Well, you know, Kanye West. We like to talk about Kanye West. Love him, hate him, whatever you think about him. His mind is very creative. He's great at what he does, which is produce records, come out with records, disseminate music. He's great at what he does. You can think about what you want when he comes out to his messaging, because he definitely has a different kind of way of thinking. He's been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. So he's clinically been diagnosed with that. He came out, he was on Jimmy Kimmel, and he was asked a question by Jimmy Kimmel. Well, you came out and so legendarily said that George Bush doesn't care about black people back in the Hurricane Katrina, when you had the famous speech on the telethon with Michael Myers, and you alluded to George Bush not caring about the brothers and sisters and what was going on down there. And then you so controversially say that you stand up for Donald Trump, that he's a good guy. We all know the rhetoric that's going on out here. And then we heard the comments that he made on TMZ. We all know. So he said, Jimmy Kimmel, asked him the question, well, if George Bush didn't care about black people, what gives you the indication that Donald Trump did? And Kanye West didn't say much. The cut to commercial break, and everyone was on Kanye West. Well, he jumped on his Twitter and he said this: the question was so important, I took time to think, and then I was hit with it. The let's go to commercial break. The interview showed strong personalities with different opinions having civil conversations. So that was his explanation to the naysayers on why he didn't answer the question, basically saying that they went to commercial break too fast without him being able to properly register and answer that question the way that it needed to be answered. Well, Eazy, I don't know if you know Eazy.
Oh, yeah.
Jumped on his Twitter and said, we're still all waiting for your answer. The floor is yours. This got a lot of attention. This was yesterday around 12:43 a.m. What are your thoughts on Eazy kind of coming at Kanye West? What do you think about this whole situation?
Good question. Real good question. I think people want to know. You know, with the George Bush situation, you know, I think that stemmed from the whole hurricane. I forget Katrina, I think,
yep, in
New Orleans, and just I can't even come up with a word to say how awful that was. And I was just recently in New Orleans, and you got places, you know, that haven't even been rebuilt up. I think they got a VA hospital. You know, I don't know if it's called the 9th Ward. One of the wards right now is like hell living in that. So, I mean, it has to be some type of credence to that statement. But about George Bush, but Donald Trump, you know, I would like to hear what Kanye West says about, you know, that. But me personally, I know a lot of people, you know, black, white, whatever, have mixed feelings, mixed emotions, you know, on Donald Trump because some of his policies and stuff in the business and taxes and, you know, the way he feels about certain different ethnic groups. So it's different, you know, depending on who, you know, you speak to. But that's a very good question, I think, that he posed.
Is Kanye West a puppet for the Donald Trump party, because he was also asked this question by Charlamagne the God in that interview a couple months back, and he also danced around that. I'll grab that audio while you answer that question.
Yeah.
But do you think this is a ploy? Do you think he's being paid off by the president?
I wouldn't say that, but I think Dame Dash kind of alluded to, which I gotta agree with, in the mental health here. And I say that, that Kanye's crazy or nothing like that, but I think he said he was like on some type of medication, and that the media, pretty much takes advantage of that. You remember the conversation that we had, so I mean, I don't know, man. Kanye's the genius. I think he's a genius, but I think sometimes he just misinformed to some of the things that he said. Maybe you don't have nobody saying like, look, you shouldn't do this. You shouldn't say this. You shouldn't put that out on Twitter. Maybe nobody's around him to kind of advise, because some stuff, is best. Even if you feel that way, you don't have to go out and put it in the public's best, just don't say anything.
I think he's one of those minds that just thinks he's going to go against the grain. If he thinks people don't want to hear this, he's going to come out and say this. Or if people want to hear this, he's going to say the complete opposite to really kind of just change the narrative and get things. And he likes to stir up shit. I think he likes that. I don't even know if he necessarily believes everything that he preaches when he comes to Donald Trump. Maybe it is a little bit of a mix or a medication, or maybe it's just because he would piss black people off.
Right.
Real rap. Like if he says this crazy stuff, because he really has no answer to a very simple and logical question. Anybody can say what they want about Donald Trump, but I think one fact remains is he really doesn't have black people on the radar too much of giving a fuck. He doesn't care.
Right.
And that's to each his own. Don't care. You know what I mean? We need to necessarily stop crying and kind of just start building for our own, because there's plenty that we could start doing in the ground root to start changing the conversation within the next 4, next 8, next 12 years. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that our babies are well taken care of, better taken care of than we were our parents. We all know the rhetoric. Let me hear. Let's show what Kanye West had to say on Charlamagne the God.
Do you think he cares about black people? What do you think? No, I'm not even going to hit you with a question to your question. I hate when people do that to me. You can ask me, though. That's fire, because you used the George Bush quote against me. Do you think he cared about black people?
Yeah. So that was his response. Dance.
Yeah, definitely. Buck dance.
Dance. You know what I mean? And look, and just gave that lost look like Kanye West has been notoriously given recently. And just, he danced around the question, and Charlamagne gave him his time. He could have answered it then. There was no commercial break then. So it's just, I don't know if he really even practices and believes what he preaches, or it's just maybe something to just start irritating people, because it definitely has him in the conversation. I don't think he's getting paid off by anywhere in Trump's campaign or anything crazy like this. I think this is just simply Kanye knowing he's an annoyance and just using that against other people, in my opinion.
Yeah, crazy, definitely. But you're listening to the Uncensored Truth podcast with your brother OGod and Sam Man. We're going all the way in today. We want to say welcome to everybody that's listening on SoundCloud, and definitely to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram audience. Peace to y'all. Make sure I go ahead and hit the like button and share this video. Yeah, man. So what else is going on over there today, man?
We talked about it a couple weeks ago, but we never aired it on the Uncensored Truth podcast. We wanted to definitely give this some attention, though. Shout out to the Uncensored Truth business section that we have here on this podcast. Brother Jay Morrison, the Atlanta-based real estate mogul. We had conversations about him. We all know what's going on with his Tulsa project. Let me give a little bit of the backstory for those who don't know who he is. Well, he recently announced, this was back in June of 2018, the initial public offering launch of the Tulsa Real Estate Fund, the first African-American owned Regulation A+ Tier 2 crowd-funded, designed to revitalize urban communities across the U.S. Now, the Tulsa Real Estate Fund, the People's Fund, is a real estate crowdfunded qualified by the Security of Exchange Commission, the SEC, that allows both accredited and non-accredited investors to collectively invest and own real estate projects around the country that are unique, diversified, and yield a reasonable rate on return. The Tulsa Real Estate Fund seeks to raise up to $50 million in equity capital in its initial public offering under Regulation A+ of the Jumpstart, our own startup, the JOBSX. The Regulation A+ Tier 2 offering officially launched on June 1st, 2018, and began taking investments immediately. The Merge Herald 21st Century Funded raised $8 million in its first weekend. Now, the Tulsa Real Estate Fund is named in honor, obviously, of the businessmen and women of the once prosperous Greenwood neighborhood in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1921. More than 2,000 Black-owned homes and businesses thrived in a self-sustaining community known as Black Wallstreet before being destroyed by an angry white mob, and hundreds of African Americans were killed in the worst armed race riots in U.S. history. It's a shame that we didn't learn this in our history books, because it's a powerful piece of history that we don't know about. Now, this seems like on the outskirts something powerful. We definitely respect and appreciate everything that Jay Morris is doing. We talk about real estate in our private conversations on the daily. We clearly understand, if you want to become a millionaire out here in this society, then real estate and property ownership has to be a key component in that piece. What do you say about this? Because like I said, on the outskirts, it looks absolutely amazing. And I want to get to what Jay Morrison has to say about it and the things that has to go on before or after.
No doubt. I mean, you know, I heard a lot of people, and I do a lot of professionals myself. I heard a lot of mixed things, you know, about it. But me personally, I haven't really delved in it as deep as I really want to, you know. But I do see it as being something good. But I think some people are bringing up, when we like to, you know, we're gonna hear what Jay Morrison, you know, says on it. You know, there have been some critiques of it, just like with anything else. You know, a lot of people talk about the return on the investment, but it does look like, you know, obviously a great idea from the outside looking in, definitely. But let's hear what Jay got to say about it, so that people can get more clarity. That'd be dope.
Grounds that our ancestors built so prominently and suffered on, the frequency here is so high in this community. We pour into our people financial literacy, wealth education, and most importantly, Black love. I don't want to be dead last forever. I don't want our community to be dead last forever. I want us to advance. Right now, the score is 450 years to 0.
We move in that warrior spirit of our boldest ancestors, Fred Hampton, Huey Newton, Malcolm X. We take the spirit of our boldest and bravest ancestors, and that's how we live today. Like we're not living in a cowardly way.
Just a little bit out of 60 years out of our enslavement, 60 years of it being illegal for us to read and write, to own land, just 60 years, a generation or two out of our chattel enslavement, this community was able to create ownership of over 2,000 businesses and homes right here, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Imagine if those 2,000 homes and businesses were never bombed and destroyed. Imagine how much family wealth we could have passed down and how much it would have expounded. You can't even comprehend the compound interest. You can't even understand the compound. Think about the psychological effects if this Black Wall Street was never massacred and burned down. Think about the elevation, the level of elevation and success that we would have. Think about the lack of oppression that we would have. When you look at the condition of our people today, you can't even imagine what the condition of our people would be like had we not had so much detractors and people that are looking to destroy us. And so it's important for us to understand our history so we can put in perspective why we are how we are today and how we can fix how we are today. I think we've been too passive and too pleasant and too appeasing long enough.
Dope.
Very dope. Now, my question with you would be to the naysayers, because like you said, you or I have not crunched any numbers. Right. We're uplifting a brother that looks like he's doing some amazing things out there, himself, his wife, their family. He's definitely a mogul. He's an entrepreneur that should be celebrated. He does not look like on the outskirts that he has any bad interest for Black people at heart.
Not at all.
Looks like he's trying to educate, uplift, and get us out of situations that he sees that we've all lived through. So to the naysayers who question their return on the investment and things like that, are they being a little too critical to a brother that's really trying to do some change? Now, the business discussion absolutely needs to be discussed, but should that be the main point in why he should not be bought into? You feel me? What do you think on that?
Well, I mean, yeah, I think a lot of people, you know, are kind of trying to paint it, and not saying that I agree with this. I'm trying to paint it like it's something that he's going to get most of, you know, or his company is going to get most of the profit from this, and the people are going to see very little. That's the way it's being painted. But again, the concept seems great. And we talk about Black Wall Street, what it was, you know, banks, all types of different institutions. You know, we were lending money, and we took the family unit and turn that to a community, turn that to institutions. So now that was starting to spread. It wasn't just there, it was other places too. We had stuff popping off, and all those were kind of, systematically destroyed, whether it was bombs or legislation, whatever. All that stuff was destroyed in this country. Now you see everybody's in our community, pretty much, just making money off of us, off of stuff that we spend. So that's why I'm not going against it. I think it's a great thing. I think it's a great thing for him to try to go back and buy the, the Black Wall Street and everything. But I want to get more information before I really, go in on it, like I really want to. I want to crunch some numbers, and look at some more of his content, and to see exactly what this is.
Right. I want to talk about a little bit, just to get off of the Tulsa conversation and more so on the real estate aspect of it, because we talk about, like I said, we have conversations about starting to buy property and build property.
Right.
And we know the hardships behind it. We understand that credit plays a crucial role, but we understand that a lot of these listings and things aren't often seen by us if we don't have someone directly connected to the bookings, we don't have the realtors in hand. A lot of these people, a lot of these businessmen, businesswomen that go out here and grab real estate, they have an inside track. They have a realtor that's involved that can get them these listings prior to them being out to the public. We don't have these advantages. It's important to have people like Jay Morrison, if not only to follow or necessarily put money or stock into what he has going on business wise, to take heed and listen to what he's saying and get some type of literacy to these conversations. Because like we said, in order for it to be a millionaire mindset, a millionaire standard, real estate property ownership is a crucial part in that. And if you don't understand the lingo, if you don't understand the importance, these people will come in here, suck these motherfuckers up right up under you, and you'll have no idea what's going on. So for the naysayers and the people that may have some critical things to say in regard to that, I don't know if they're out here necessarily tearing his name down.
Right.
Well, let's not disregard a brother that's out here and at least showing the blueprint
of ownership.
Yeah. Now we do have the right, and I would love for him and his wife to come on here, whether we went out there or came out here and have conversations. I don't know if you've ever answered the questions of the naysayer, and they deserve a direct answer from him, and he deserves to give that to him so that they can, if there is something to shoot it down your way. Have that open platform to do so. That would be great.
But we definitely, ownership is a thing that to do not do. Jay Morrison, apologize. Was pushing. That's huge. Because that's something that we, have lacked. We never really get into the ownership. And the properties is one thing, but just, the music, owning your masters, we got to get into that whole ownership, mindset again, and not letting everybody take advantage. So that part I agree with. And I would love to have them, come in so we could talk about this. I think that's good promotion for them, and everybody. So hopefully, Jay can see this video and we can get in contact and make something happen.
That's facts. 2018, you see a lot of negative bullshit on here, but be not mistaken. This is a day and age where the power of ownership is there like never before.
Right.
The power of owning your music is out there like never before. When you could build your own platform, build your own fan base, distribute your own music, and then go on tour and distribute your own merchandise all under your own self-made platform.
Right.
There's nothing like it.
Right.
And we're doing it nowadays more than ever. So let's not use what we see out here on the mass media, all the shit that we see going on, the sad shit, and use it as a crutch for an excuse, because we can go get it like no other today in 2018. Shout out to Jay Morrison.
Yes, sir.
Hope to have you on.
Yes, sir. But you're listening to the Uncensored Truth podcast with your brother OGod and Sam, man. Everybody listening on SoundCloud, we want to welcome you to our podcast. If you're listening on YouTube, please go ahead and don't be shy. Hit that like button and make sure that you share this video. It only takes a push of a finger, and we do appreciate it before you do it. I guess that's all we got today for the Uncensored Truth, right?
Yeah, it's not much going on in the worldwide news, and stuff going on in hip hop. It's a real kind of a slow day, chill day.
Right.
But we're going to hit you with content every single day.
Yes, sir.
That's what we do. Hope you join all the content on SoundCloud, Viral Hip Hop News, Uncensored, Uncensored Truth. Stay tuned for the merchandise. You see the emails in the description boxes now. Officially have some merchandising packages for everyone out there serious about, marketing their music. You got merchandise. Yeah, let's get it popping.
Yes, sir. But with that being said, man, we out of here. The Uncensored Truth podcast. You can find us anywhere, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Type in Uncensored Truth podcast. that is what it is.
Oh God, my fault. Real quick,
ahead.
give him your social media handles real quick before we get out of here. Let's start because we got to start YouTube. We appreciate y'all, but a lot of the subscribers, the loyal subscribers, start following the movement on our social media platforms. We can't tell you how important that is for everyone to go in there. We can obviously get a little bit more closer to you. We'll follow you back. Let us know you follow the movement on YouTube, and I guarantee you we'll both follow you back, man. So go subscribe on all platforms. We'll have those links in the description box as well.
Yes, sir. Definitely. All right, man. We out of here. Peace.
Saw you and him walking in the rain, baby. You were holding hands, and I will never be the same.
Alana, what's up, girl? Hey, come take this ride with me. Yeah, shut the door. What's up, baby? How you been? You still looking good? Holding everything in place.
October 26th, it is going down. Gangsta Conversation, the comedy album from none other than T to the motherfucking K, TK Kirkland, going down. Make sure you pre-order your album right here on iTunes. Link in the description box right now. Gangsta Conversation, T to the motherfucking K. Get yours right now. And make sure you stay tuned for the head single on that album, Walking in the Rain, sponsored by TK Kirkland. Get yours right now.
Holding everything in place like we